Keller.
On the stream.
We should be live by now. Yes, we are. Welcome all to our live stream. Today we're going to talk about the good and the bad and the ugly when it comes to women's sport.
Oh, can I pick who's the ugly?
Yeah, well, first, the two of you are going to finish about your experiences with the stream of Anirtak. So I'm really curious what it is you wanted to talk about. You were talking about it, you didn't finish it before we went live, so here we go.
Well, it's just that I was going to say the problem with trying to discuss the issue with Anirtak is I don't know much about it and Real Raven doesn't know much about it, so it would be the most uninformed talk since the last uninformed talk we had.
Okay, so
yeah. I think we should have her on for that, so maybe it's not the. And I don't even know whether she wants it published, you know. But
well,
I think
she's not shy. She was streaming about it this afternoon.
I know. But at the same time, she was reasonably. She was reasonably vague about it as well. No, I think it was a case of brigading. You know, she was basically attacked for a Facebook post, and there was an ongoing trial about it for. Is it 2 years now? It's crazy, like, you know. But they basically made her responsible for something she linked to. You know, like you link to something, and so that you're basically the publisher of it. You know, so you're responsible for whatever. It just John.
Yeah, well, you see, I mean, the problem is I only occasionally listen to her streams.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that I was sat there with the Tour de France on, and it was 2 o'clock. It was sunny, and I thought, oh, I'll pause the Tour de France and listen to a stream.
I listened to it afterwards, but yeah, it just sounded really bad, you know. I mean, I know that you was preoccupied with it for a while, you know. I mean, it's bad enough having to go to a court case regularly because you posted something on Facebook, you know, or not even you shared. It's not even like you wrote something, you just shared a link to something. It's crazy, isn't it?
Or like that guy in Britain who had the police round telling him to check his thinking because he liked a tweet.
Yeah. This is ludicrous. Like, and there are people in Australia who want to have that system there as well, you know, the English system.
Well, because they're authoritarian assholes who cannot actually form an argument. And what do you do if you can't form an argument? You stop those with an argument from talking. Yay!
You just make sure that
you don't cut someone's tongue out because what they say, but because you can't handle what they say.
Yeah,
you know, there's always a first step, and the first step is that you make sure that your opinion is completely and 100% in line with the state or the power's opinions are in line with what you say, so that you have the power behind you, and then you start attacking people. That's very important. Just, you know, laugh at Trump jokes and stuff like that. You know, make sure that you're part of the mob, and then you can carry out these attacks.
Talking of Trump, seeing as we like to just babble on a little bit before the stream starts. So there's a bit of a kerfuffle in my wreck of a country. Apparently, it was in the Mail on Sunday, somebody had leaked confidential memos from the UK ambassador to the United States saying mean things about Donald Trump and his administration. Donald Trump didn't like said mean things, but it just so happened that last night there was a debate between the two candidates for Prime Minister. The one predicted to win, Boris Johnson, basically refused to wholeheartedly support the ambassador. And then everyone's got their knickers in a twist. Well, everyone should support the civil service. This is terrible. And I'm thinking, saying things about your closest allies is terrible too.
Yeah.
You know.
I'll be right back. One sec, guys.
So he needs a colostomy bag, I tell you.
Just to get condemned Boris for not ragging on Trump, is it?
No, it's this guy is the UK ambassador, right?
Yeah.
So no matter what he's done,
Yeah.
Here it is again.
as potential prime minister, he's supposed to support him unreservedly, no matter what.
All right. The ambassador, yeah. Okay. Is that so? I didn't know.
No, that's what everyone was saying, because I caught a politics show this afternoon, and it was saying that.
Okay. Okay. And what did the ambassador say again?
Well, he was just saying things like the Trump administration's a mess, it's a disaster, it'll never get any better.
All right, okay. So basically a political opinion. That's interesting that an ambassador is even allowed to say. I thought.
Well,
that,
no, because it's all been portrayed as just his honest professional opinion, which of course all the people who hate Trump are perfectly happy to call it an honest
really,
professional opinion.
I think that's not very professional for an ambassador to have such
exactly.
an opinion.
Read the chat. Read the chat. Call Trump an idiot. And I'm sorry. And they're saying, oh, he should be allowed to say what he wants. It's a private communique. And I'm thinking, okay, no.
Well, I mean, okay, let's assume that he should be allowed to say what he wants. Let's assume, okay?
Yeah.
Let's take that then one step further. Why isn't Boris Johnson allowed to say what he wants to say? No.
Because he's got to support the ambassador no matter what, says all the talking heads on the city.
But the ambassador isn't supporting their allies. Not even
that's
their own country.
really dangerous, actually.
Let's be honest.
Isn't it?
Wars have started over less.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
especially an ambassador. I mean, you should have a
do
bit of.
Do you remember when Trump got
decorum.
elected? Do you remember when Trump got elected?
Yeah.
And all the heads of state in Europe were like, I mean, Merkel was a total bitch about it.
Yeah? Don't remember that, but okay, I wasn't in Germany.
No, I mean, it was all over the papers. She was like, barely able to say congratulations. And May
why
wasn't.
May, was it because not a fellow vagina had won the post?
No. Well, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. The point is, as head of state, when another head of state is elected, you smile
you should.
and say congratulations.
Yeah, exactly.
But they didn't. And May wasn't much better. And she's supposedly a conservative, and there are supposed to be our allies. Yeah.
Weird, isn't it?
But my point is this: they set the tone, and then it's like everyone's like Johnson's. For whatever he might be thinking, well, we have to be a bit more subtle about this. We can't just wholeheartedly back our ambassador after he's been revealed to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I just thought that was an interesting
take.
Well, it's classic. The political class only care about themselves.
Yeah.
And you have to wholeheartedly support other members of the political class.
Which is, funny enough, why the media and the politicians are so much against Trump. He's not one of theirs.
Yeah.
They are, because
I think
it's just populist. I think it's at this stage they think that's a populist move. Everybody's against him. They think that way.
The worst thing you can say is that a politician is a populist, because
I know.
There is no politician who is not.
Yeah, exactly. That's their job. Get the votes.
Yeah, to be popular, but it's such a cheap, it's like it's interesting. I saw an interview with a guy, what's his name, the guy who made Titania McGrath, and he said like he tests some of his jokes. He doesn't know whether people just laugh at them because they're just anti a certain stance. So he keeps checking. You know, it's kind of, it's like let's say you go to a comedy club and say Trump's an idiot and everybody laughs. You know, it's just it's not that people find it funny. It's just that they're supposed to laugh. You know, and it's kind of
and they like having
terrible,
their
really.
opinions.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just, you know, it's actually a terrible world, you know, when you think that people just agree to a joke because they're conformist, you know.
Here's the thing: you are discussing once reasonable BBC games, panel shows like "Have I Got News for You?" ever since Trump got elected, because that's all they do.
Yeah. It's so like, tired, but it must be really tiring. If you're a progressive or something, it must be really tiring to go to the shows, you know, and you have to spend a lot of money for tickets, you know. You have to spend a lot of money for the tickets, and then you have to pretend to find it funny.
No, they don't have to spend any money.
All right,
all those TV shows are free.
Shit.
To the audience, but they're like seals. You know, like bloody trained seals. So Trump is stupid.
And they won't die because they won't die because they're doing it for the better interest of the world. This is the whole Robert Barron quote. This is, I mean, they're doing it because it's best for everyone else.
And every hot lightweight wants to make themselves feel better and superior than others.
Yeah. So they're basically the puppets of the 2 minute fate.
Well, I'm so progressive, so progressive, really. Anyway, we do have a topic for tonight.
We do.
All right. Yeah,
but we were just warming up the stream. That was all.
Exactly. Well, I'll probably sign off because I don't know too much about it. I saw all the Noel Plum stuff about it, and I found it very intelligent. Anyway.
Well, I must admit, you see, when I see the title, I think of the other angle. To me, the far more interesting angle, which is all these women going, but the men earn all this money. Why can't we earn all this money? Because they know fuck all about economics. You know, and it's like that's the angle that interests me because I actually think in the long run, trans people destroying women's sport. I don't want to see women's sport destroyed, but trans people entering women's sport and therefore stopping women from having a chance is the only way to fight the politically correct.
Well, it is funny, but it goes further than just sports. I mean, how many of us still remember that I'm going to have to share this one. This is comedy gold, really. It really is. Let me see if I have the right button. I do, and I have that one, and I do, and there we go, and toppa. That Bono won a Glamour's Woman of the Year award. He doesn't even identify as a woman. But Glamour
won.
That's funny.
Only one. How many Women of the Year can there be? But this is no. I mean, seriously. I mean,
he
this
must
is
be a
part
woman
of the problem.
if he says poverty is sexist.
No. But this is part of the problem. Surely, Woman of the Year is singular.
All right, yeah, women.
Say so, but I mean, let's be honest. There are women that are good at accounting, but there aren't a lot of them, and apparently Glamour doesn't have any.
There is no woman good at accounting in any way affiliated with feminism.
No.
They are economically illiterate. There is no way a woman good at accounting is affiliated with feminism. They would tell them that the wage gap nonsense is bollocks if there was a woman who was an accountant affiliated with feminism.
I have to respond to the chat for a second. Michael Keller, did Bono turn so feminine lately? Yes, but this was 2016, so it has been worse. And I mean, he didn't even shave. So
I mean, this poverty is sexist campaign. I mean, how I just detest people who think like that. Poverty is sexist.
Yeah, it's so funny.
You could have said that, Real Raven. You didn't have to type it. You could have said that.
No. I didn't want to say that.
What do you mean these days? What do you mean these days? What was he before?
Well, I did enjoy him. Let's say 1990, roughly. Time. Yeah,
When they still put,
After Sunday, Bloody Sunday, he hasn't recorded a decent song.
when they still use the young boy on their album covers, yeah.
That sounds suspicious.
Yeah, it is actually. There's a lot of allegations there. Say no more.
Well,
but you know,
say no more. Say no more. Okay, stop with the broadcasting of this one. So yeah, I mean, is there a problem in female sport?
There's lots of problems with female sport. Most of it is that it exists.
Nah, I think the biggest problem is that they don't exchange that in football they don't exchange their T-shirts after the game. They really should.
They do. They do. They do. They do. In fact, yeah, they have these very robust sports bras that are,
right.
Yeah, you know, like the female boxers wear.
All right. Oh yeah. I know.
You know,
this big one.
It actually leaves the waist bare, but little else between shoulder and stomach.
Yeah.
So there is that. But
shows my ignorance. I haven't watched women's football in years.
I haven't watched women's football, but you know.
Just a bit at the end.
No. Because what will happen is there will then be a fuss.
Yeah.
Because somebody will object to them doing even that much. And then it'll make the news.
Well, in all fairness, I have seen a few matches of the women's football team. I'm Dutch. And the Dutch are second, so they did get far. I have a colleague who used to be a goalkeeper for the female Dutch soccer team.
What, the national one?
Yeah.
Ah.
No, indeed. That's. Listen, do I care about female soccer? Not as much as
football.
Football. Football. No more or less than male football, to be honest. But I recognize that if you're the best woman goalkeeper in the world to perform for the Dutch female football team, then you're good.
Yeah, on that level, yeah.
Relatively, because that's
relatively.
Yeah,
this is the main point.
Yeah, but it's so funny because and she doesn't. She recognizes it. I mean, she's actually a trainer now. She trains. Well, she trains boys for goalkeeping and all that. And seriously, she's getting paid for it. I mean, not enough to stop her day job, but still.
Yeah.
And she's good. I mean, she knows her stuff. Now, women and men are physically different, therefore physically.
But the dynamics of a goalkeeper save is the dynamics of a goalkeeping save. Yes.
And a man can do it easier than a woman because of the body, but the principles are the same. She's actually training, and she's a good trainer. People like to train from her. She has had contact with big Dutch football players in the past. I mean, it's not that she's unknown. She's not a nobody.
The mechanics are the same.
Okay.
The round thing goes into the square thing, is it?
No. It's not a square thing. It's a rectangle.
I know.
8 feet high by 8 yards wide. which
But-
all
Yeah,
you
I
metric
was-
people can't even know because you don't understand proper
No, it's not
measurements of
that.
yards and feet.
It's just hard to translate a German saying "das Runde muss in das Eckige." The round thing has to go into this squared off thing, eckig.
Yeah.
It's really hard to translate idioms, like that. And they're just
Okay,
funny
can
in
I-
German only.
Because I really wanted to make this point, and this is a very important point.
Yeah,
Even though she has been playing on the highest level at change,
yeah.
she recognizes that it's stupid to expect the same of women than of boys.
Yeah.
Not of men, of
Of boys, yes, we know, yes.
And therefore, it is equally stupid to demand the same pay.
Oh, no, that's a different argument.
But it's not.
No, it is, and I'll explain why.
Okay.
Okay. It's all about economics. You see, it's not about how good you are. If, for instance, they had somebody or other, they had topless darts. And I'm not talking about the men. They had women playing topless darts.
Oh, topless darts. Nice.
Yeah, men
Now-
can't even do that.
Now,
Yeah.
Now, the point is this. If, for whatever reason, you manage to make it interesting for a large number of people to watch the women play the game, and they got huge international television audiences, which brought in phenomenal amounts of money, and the women were given pay commensurate with that, it doesn't matter how shit they would be at the football. I don't care.
Because they would win. They would win.
No, because it's the economics. And this is my point. It's not about whether women are as good as boys or as good as men. Nothing to do with that. It's purely to do with the economics. If the women's game can attract the audience, and that audience brings with it money, and the money goes into the game, which is what's happening in the men's sport, okay, then the players deserve a good cut of that. Fine, no problem whatsoever. My objection is they want the money,
But they don't want to perform.
but no, without having gone through 100 years of building their sport into this massive international concern.
Yeah.
Because
Isn't that what it's all about?
it isn't that long since the men didn't earn that much.
The only men that do earn much in sports.
And there's only the very elite earn a lot. And that's the point. They get the money that they are able to within the economic market of what they do.
Yeah. But to go back to my point, I have this colleague. She recognizes, and she likes watching women football. She watched most of the matches because I guess she knows some of the players personally. I'm not caring too much about that. But she recognizes the difference between a female match and a male match.
Yeah, one's got an audience and one hasn't.
Well,
No, that's the point. That is the point.
well, it's true, but there's a reason why one has an audience and the
It
other.
doesn't matter what the reason. This is my whole point. It doesn't matter what the reason is. This is my whole point. Arguing about good and bad is irrelevant.
Okay.
What matters is bums on seats and money flowing through cash registers. That's what counts. And if they could get, I mean, there's a reason why English football has so much money. And it all started with the launch of satellite television with the Sky B. Because all of a sudden they had a subscription model, which meant that they had a shitload more money than their competitors.
Well,
and that has grown and grown and grown. And that's why the men get so much money, because without that money from the satellite people, which in turn comes from the people who subscribe to watch the football, because they have special subscriptions just for the football. So you can subscribe to Sky and pay extra just for the football.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is a very direct model between what people are prepared to pay and the money the company then pass on to football in terms of what they will bid. Because they won't bid more than it's worth to them. And that's the economic model. And that's my point. So if for any reason whatsoever, the women managed to get that.
You made your point, mate. Let's move on. You made your point. Let's move on. So let's look at what the FIFA is making on men's sport. The FIFA, the recorded income, and it is this is the one. I think what I'm showing here are the numbers from 2016. FIFA made 4.6 billion based on the World Championship.
Well, that was 18, but yeah.
Was this 18? Yeah, you're right.
18 for the World Cup, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad. You're correct. 4.18.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
18 billion, no. 2018, yeah.
2018, they made 4.6 billion in revenue. And 1 billion is, if I'm not mistaken, 1,000 million, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
And as you can see, 55% came from television revenue.
Yeah. More than half. And then we're looking at the female side of things. Now I'm looking here. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it doesn't show. I thought it was this one. Bloody hell. The Women's World Cup of 2011 brought in 2011, so this is an old one, brought in $5.8 million, while the Men Cup in 2014 netted 1.4 billion. So this is a few years back. I'll grant you that. I've looked for the numbers of 2015, but I couldn't find the women's numbers of 2015 of what they earned. But if we compare the Women's World Cup 2011 and we compare that to the Male World Cup in 2014, they are set apart by a fraction of 1,000. The female side netted about 5.8 million. Well, it's less than 1,000, sorry. It's 200, 300. Whereas the Men Cup netted 1.4 billion. And those differences haven't really disappeared.
No, of course not.
And this is the problem. Now, back in those days, it was even worse because now, if you look at the female playing, they're not bad. If I look at the American team or the Dutch team, in all fairness, the number 1 and the number 2 of the last World Championship for women, which was last week, they weren't that bad. But comparatively, I've seen 17-year-old play better than that. And that's just not me saying, because if we look at, for example, examples where the Dutch team played against boys, the American team played against an Alabama boy team, and football.
The Australians did as well.
Yeah, well, they did it whilst they were in England, funny enough.
No, the Australians did it against Australian boys team.
Oh, okay. Well, I've read one.
And they don't even play football, the burn over there.
Well, that's the thing. That's the same thing in America. Football isn't a big thing, and they still get trenched by a bunch of 15-year-old boys in Alabama. Because we all know what a big sport football is in Alabama, right?
I have no idea.
But there's a reason these women, and I really appreciated I watched a bit of the football, and the Dutch women team played comparatively well. But the word is comparatively or relative. Yeah. Because let's be honest, I'm not going to sit and watch an average boy team of 15 years old play. And
No.
what's the reason I don't go watch them play? Well, if there is no personal interest in it for me, the game itself isn't that beautiful. I mean, I sometimes look to watch at games from, for example, the Dutch teams PSV or Feyenoord or Ajax, not because I care, but I will see some nice-looking football from time to time. I'll not have to bother that with 15-year-old boys now, do I? That's not going to happen.
Oh, I mean, and it's not just that. I mean, when you look at the men's game, you have all these different levels. So, you know, it's like in England, we've always had the 4 leagues. So you've got the Premier League, what's now the Championship, the First Division, Second Division. And when you go to the Second Division, obviously, you're a long way in quality, you're a long way in crowd size, and the clubs don't earn as much money, etc.
Yeah.
And they're still better than the women's game. And yet the women say, oh, we're playing, and this is so like these world famous clubs, right? Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester City, etc., right? And they have women's sides. The men's sides play in state-of-the-art stadia in front of anything from 40 to 75,000 every week. And the women play at pokey little grounds and are lucky to get 3,000.
Yeah.
Well, they're not earning enough as much money.
But even if they play in their own stadium, I know that for football teams, they sometimes have a younger team play as a game to play before the main match goes, right?
Okay.
They haven't done that for the last 10 years, but they used to do that.
Okay, I've never seen that.
Well, it's been a while. Maybe it's longer than 10 years, but I can still remember.
I'm going to say I'm older than you, and I went to my first football match before I was 10. So,
yeah, but I mean, you would go whilst, for example, I can remember that when I was young and I went to Feyenoord, whilst we were all going into the stadium, the end of another match was being played.
Okay, that's a Dutch thing. Never happened here.
Okay, well, could be. I haven't done it for a while now, but they did that. And I've been told, now I'm not sure if this is true, but I've been told that female teams don't want to do that.
Well, of course not.
Because then they would feel like they're only second fiddle to the male teams. Which, in all fairness, they are.
And this is my point, right? So, men play sport because they love it. And, as I say, it's not that long ago that very few of the men's players earned any kind of money at all. And they spent 150 years from the founding of the first leagues to today, building up the sport. And it's only in the last 20, 30 years that it's become quite as stratospherically valuable as it is now.
I mean,
it's a worldwide phenomenon. It's marketed across the world. You know, it's like Liverpool have got 200 million fans in China. That's one club, 200 million fans in China. And Real Madrid and Manchester United, they're all the same.
Yeah.
And okay, I fully acknowledge that the American sports got there earlier in terms of the wealth, but things like football and in Europe are now on a financial par with the American sports.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But it took that long.
Oh, I can still remember that. I used to, when I was playing football back in the day, I used to be trained by a person who was a professional football player. but not competitively. I mean, he could barely keep his head above the water.
And that's the thing. So I'm talking about England, Spain, Italy, France, and Germany. So 5 countries.
Yeah.
If you're in the Netherlands, it's like a step down. If you're in like Sweden, you're 2 steps down, way down, right?
2 is nothing.
and there are clubs that aren't properly professional because they can't afford to be. So people still have their own jobs. And so if these women want to go out and spend 100 years building the sport, getting the fans, oh no, what's that? They just want the money.
Yeah.
They don't want to put the effort in. They don't want to play second fiddle.
But this isn't just about sports now, is it?
No, it's the feminist propaganda, isn't it?
It's all about, I'm talking about tennis. Well, but look at huge tennisers on the female side of things. They only make a fraction of what men do. Yeah, but men play in the final, what is it, best out of 5? No,
well, no, it's more complicated than that. And also, it's not true. At the end of year championships, the women's championship is now worth a lot more than the men's championship.
What, female tennis?
Yeah. Because they're separate organisations. It's quite complicated the way the women work. Basically, you've got two organisations. The men is the ATP, the Association of Tennis Players, whereas the women are the WTA, Women's Tennis Association. They even have slightly different rules. So in the women's game, you're allowed to be coached by your coach during the match, and in the men's game, you're not allowed to be coached by your coach during the game. Now, what happens is you've got the big tournaments, the 4 Grand Slams, and they run as a slightly independent thing, so that they're not quite, they're neither the WTA or the ATP, and they run as independent tournaments. And so they have slightly different rules because it's only those 4 and the Davis Cup where they play best of 5.
Yeah.
So basically, all the women's matches come under the WTA, and it's entirely separately organised, financed, etc. And all the men's matches come under the ATP, and it's separately organised, financed, etc. So under normal conditions, there is no issue of equality of prize fund because they're different organisations with different rules. It's only at the big tournaments.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you still there, though? You feel falling away?
Me?
Yeah.
I can hear clicketing. I was just reading Nick Radio's comment. It's funny, Nick's Radio. Whenever women earn more money for the same thing, no one ever says a word.
Well, it's kind of it's even funnier because how stupid do you want to have it have? Let me share you this gem of entertaining news gathering. There we go. Sharing there, sharing there. Is there a sports gender pay gap? Why are women still paid less than men? Because Steph Houston, the best paid female English player, earns £65,000 a year, while Wayne Rooney receives £300,000 a week.
As I say, because these people are economically illiterate. They are morons.
Yeah. I like the fact that they post a picture of a female tennis player, though.
Well, yeah, because it's grass and therefore it's obviously football, because that's how much this moron knows about sport.
How brilliant is that? Indeed, Michael Keller, Wayne Rooney now plays tennis. Yeah, I didn't think so, but yeah, apparently. The thing is, if
they just don't understand the basics You get what you earn, and women do not earn the money men do in sport as a rule, and when they do earn it, they get paid the same.
Well, I mean, I'm going to stop this one, by the way, because joke is made. I mean, I can certainly see that in certain sports they could compete.
When they're on horses.
Well, for example, yeah.
No, they do. The women and the men compete absolutely equally in equestrian events.
And even then, you will find men more often winning, but...
No.
Yeah, you do.
No.
But it's not based on the physical strength of the man or woman. It's
No,
more
of
based
the horse.
Yeah, and of the skill in driving such horse.
Driving.
Well, riding it, what the hell? I like to say driving because riding can have sexual innuendo.
Not when it's a horse. When you talk about equestrian sport, riding a horse.
Yeah.
Just say horse riding then.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think it's like with racing. There was a big fuss.
Bicycle.
There was a big fuss about women jockeys.
Mm-hmm.
And I have he was an uncle-in-law. He wasn't my uncle, but he was a jockey. Tiddly as a result, because jockeys are tiddly as a rule. And
A kitty tiddler.
Hmm?
Sorry. A kitty tiddler.
No, a horse tiddler.
Sorry.
But the point is, you would think, as women are naturally smaller than men, and being small has an advantage, being a jockey, that women would have an advantage.
Which they
But
don't.
it turns out not to be. The best jockeys are still men, as a rule. And you get the odd woman who does really well and might win the national or something. And I'm not saying women can't be jockeys. I'm just saying, but still, the best jockeys are men, as a rule.
But, and this is not fair of me, considering that women can cook, the best cooks are still men.
No, men are chefs, women are cooks. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
That's dreadful.
Enough said. So, okay, we thoroughly explored the pay gap bullshit from genders, and we started pointing out how men can be the best women out there. I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of women are being called Woman of the Year, and we have one that is. Therefore, if a man can be the best Woman of the Year, what does that say about a lot of other women? But it gets even worse than that, because we have transgender women competing at sport events with normal women. And they don't even have to change
For the time being, because it's getting sorted out. Well,
it still happens, and it happens quite a lot.
Yes, as I said, for the time being.
But the thing...
No. Okay, so just a quick rundown. Okay, there's a South African 800-meter runner called Semenya.
Yeah, I forgot her name, but I know who you mean.
Semenya. Okay, won gold medals by a very long distance.
Yeah, she is a biological woman. She is.
No, apparently biological male brought up a woman.
Oh.
According to the Noel Plum video. Okay. Now here's the point. Semenya competed in 2 Olympics and won the gold medal, but has now been denied the ability to run as a woman.
No, it's just weird because what I heard is that she was actually born a woman.
No, brought up a woman, might have external, because this is where it gets really complicated. Because under certain intersex conditions, you can appear to be a woman, but have all the hormonal development of a male, which is her condition. And then you have men who have or women who have all the physical appearance of men, but have this thing where, what was it? Noel said something about they can't process testosterone, and so they are essentially physically equivalent to women.
Yeah, because I knew there's a hormonal, how do you call it, defect, basically. And there are women that have a high number of testosterone for women, but they have it naturally. It does happen.
Yeah. But my point is this, is that you were saying there were all these men able to compete as women, and I'm saying even this person who has previously been recognized and competed as a woman has now been legally denied
but
the right to compete as a woman, and is now appealing it. So what I'm saying is it is actually a evolving situation.
Yeah. It is an evolving situation, but it's evolving along the wrong lines. Because let's be honest.
No, I think those are the right lines. But there you go.
My sentence. There is a woman who has a high testosterone count, has always been a woman, and is now having to fight for her right to compete as a woman, when there are plenty of men who merely come out as a woman and therefore are completely allowed to run as a woman. For example, the one I'm showing now. I forgot his name. I don't care about it.
Is that in America?
That is in America.
Yeah, well, they're fucked.
Well, that's the point. That's
no,
the point.
Yeah, but this is one of the problems, because different national associations will have their own rules, and then they'll be operating at different levels.
This one is a funny one too. There's a lot of the joke. I mean, yeah.
There was a guy, and I say guy, who won one of the women, who became world champion, that won the women's cycling distances.
Yeah. I haven't put that one up yet, but yeah, I haven't put it up. I'm not going to, but yeah.
The point is they will equalize it, is what I'm saying.
And the cyclist, the funny thing about the cyclist is he's still biologically 100% male, because he didn't go post-op or pre-op or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
He merely says, no, I'm a woman now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a mediocre cyclist.
Yes, it's pathetic is the word.
Okay, Ludacris is telling me that the weightlifter had all his awards stripped. Well,
I tried to tell him that earlier, Ludacris.
But it's perfectly great, and I'm happy that they did. But let's be honest, this article is from April 30, so that's like a few months ago.
No, but this is the problem. Okay, so the bodies don't know what to do, so they have erred on the side of social justice caution. And to be honest, I don't blame anyone for erring on the side of social justice caution, because we know how vile those people are.
Obviously, I do care about that, and that's
but the point is, it has then been corrected.
Well,
this is the point.
Here we go. This article is now more than 3 years old, so this is old. And John did mention earlier to me before stream that a bunch of these rules have been put to rest again. But the IOC rules transgender athletes can take part in the Olympics without surgery. This is a great, because this happened before there was this guy who started riding.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, it says there female to male. And female to male is a fundamentally different situation.
True that.
It's all about the advantage you get through puberty of having male hormones.
But here's another thing. I mean, while male to female athletes must undergo hormone therapy, but that's bullshit, because hormone therapy doesn't do anything. Yes, okay. Once you go through hormone therapy, your body has less testosterone, which doesn't matter, because the testosterone is mostly there needed to build your body. If you're 18 years old and you start hormone treatment, from that moment on, you won't have that much use of testosterone. But by then, your body is nearly fully developed.
Can I recommend Noel Plum's videos on this, because it goes through all of this scientifically, and it's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, it's but as I say, the whole point is that it is literally an ongoing situation.
Like Noel's point was, I think, in the end, to summarize, was that it's really hard to standardize. You know, it's very hard to, even if you came up with some metrics, how would you even know that they were like whether they were justified? And on top of that, would anybody care? Would they actually watch a sport? You know, that is like, okay, we'll let you go on. We'll let the women partake in the men's marathon run, and they can use bicycles or something like that. Then, if win on the bicycle, would that really count? Would really the public think that they are better athletes than the men who ran without the bicycle? You know,
well, it's like
really
in golf, they have a different tee.
Yeah,
the women have a different tee,
but they don't compete against each other. That's the thing. Once you
well, there was
compete,
a girl. There was a big fuss last year. A girl, I think she was, say, about 15, and she won the boys' event. She was allowed to enter, but they said you can only enter to compete, but you are not allowed to win it because you don't qualify. And then she won, and then there was all this fuss. Oh, it's sexist. She won, and why didn't she get it? And it's because, okay, you can't win them both. That's the whole point. You shouldn't be allowed to win them both.
Yeah.
It's
like
about
qualification. Yeah.
But that's equality. And the problem is they don't get it. It's like, but she's the best. She should be allowed. No, because then what? You know, it's like,
yeah, you might
99% of the time, the boy's the best of everybody. He's never allowed to enter the girls for a good reason. So just because this one time a girl's better than all the boys doesn't mean she's allowed to win them both. It's like, no, she was allowed to enter on the condition she was purely a participation and she wasn't in the competition.
Yeah.
I have to admit, with Michael Keller, though, I find it funny how people now say, no, transgenders shouldn't play in other sexist leagues. But face it, that's the best argument against feminists. There are biological differences. And I agree. Hi there, Mycroft, by the way. I hadn't said hi there yet.
You see, again, this is why I think no one gives a shit when men are disadvantaged. People give a shit when women are disadvantaged. So women being disadvantaged by transgender entryism causes people a problem, because it's like, we want to support the transgenders, but we always support the women.
Yeah, and but that's the thing, though. I mean, this whole transgender movement, this whole female rights movement, it's everything but. It's not about women.
It never has been.
Yeah, and that's kind of the
problem. It's never been for equality. It's never been about women. It's been about spoilt rich brats, bored out their minds, wanting to take the glamorous jobs off their male counterparts without doing the work for it.
And hi there, Diogenes, by the way. I
haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah. And transsexuals in women's is the best thing that could happen. It viscerally makes it clear to women that they can either get serious or there will be consequences to them.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because we know men, if men complain, it's like, you've always had it best, you're just a whiner. No, if you want to stop something, you have to have the women mobilise.
Mm-hmm.
And what's happening now is, like that man who won the cycling and so forth, you've got women saying, well, I'm not going to compete, so I might as well give up because I haven't got a chance. And people go,
I mean, the argument is that there's probably not enough transgender people taking part, but it could come to a point if you really thought it through that trainers wouldn't take on cis is that the right female born women's because they wouldn't have a chance. Oh, you didn't have a penis or you don't have a penis. Well, then you're not the right kind.
Well, it's not worse than that though, because if you're going to become an elite athlete, it takes years of dedication.
Guys, I'm AFK for a sec. I need a fast bio break. I'll be right
and
back.
During those years of dedication, for the most part, and it's not absolute, but for the most part, you know who your cohort is in terms of your competitors. For instance, when I was at school, before he became an international athlete, he was a really good runner, and he knew what's his name, the Geordie one, and Steve Cram. Even when Steve Cram was still a schoolboy, because he was so good and like at national level, he was a couple of years older, the guy I was at school with would come back and say, oh yeah, there's this guy, Steve Cram, he's brilliant. And so the best athletes were known. The standard is known, right? The problem is you're now saying to women, well, you can devote all these years, all this effort to being the best. And out of the blue, someone can just decide to switch sex and beat you.
Yep. Humiliation.
And it's like, who would do that? Because it's no longer you're able to aim against a known target, because any minute an unknown target could just materialize out of nowhere.
Yep. So you're going to set to go through the list of the differences between male tennis players and female professionals.
Yeah. I mean, I have no issue with women competing against women for their prize money. Okay, I have no issue with that. It's like fine, and if they can get a market for that and get people to pay, I've no problem. As I say, it's all about economics. And if the women's footballers could get the audiences and bring in the television revenue the male footballers get, give them the same, they can earn whatever they can, and if that's the same or more, that's good luck to them. But purely saying I play the same sport and I'm representing my country while he's representing his country, well, I'll tell you something, all the male footballers say I'd play for free to represent my country.
Most male football players would say that, yeah.
Yeah. Because they're not doing it. They want to represent the country. They're not doing it for the money. And all the women are saying, well, we're not getting as much money as them. Oh, so you're not interested in the sport then? You just want the money.
And there is something very interesting in that.
Yeah.
Kind of says it all, really. It's double, to be honest, because if you look at the whole earning thing, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, people talking in tennis now, Serena couldn't compete on male leagues. Yeah, no, we know she couldn't because she's been beaten twice by a guy who was ranking, 300 and 700 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was top number one on the women's side. And she got her ass handed to her chanceless by a guy who was number 300 in the league and later 700. It's the whole idea that men and women can compete is something that feminism has brought up. This is the I can do anything better than you mentality.
But you will notice the feminists saying that aren't the women who are being asked to compete, just as the women demanding more women in STEM are not the women in STEM. They're the gender studies idiots going, we demand more women in STEM. Okay, off you go then. Go and do your qualification. No, not me. Every frigging time.
Yeah.
I mean, Top Hats. Anyone know Top Hats and Champagne? I haven't seen him around for a while, but
I haven't seen him around for a while, yeah. But I know him.
So his wife is a successful physicist. He's a games YouTuber. She's a physicist. And it's not that you can't have successful women physicists. It's just that the ones who are don't bleat about more women in STEM.
Well, actually, I've heard more women complain about female leadership and female researchers than talk in favor of them.
Yeah, because if you've got diversity hires, they're no good.
Yeah. And there's something seriously wrong. And I mean, Jordan Peterson said it best when he said, oh, well, we don't really know whether men and women can compete in the same work atmosphere, be that sports, be that companies. I mean, we've been doing it, but we don't really know if it's good for us, if it's good for women and men. It's not about men, it's not about women, it's about society.
When women wear a suit and tie to work, then they'll have grasped the concept of equality.
Which they still don't, because they
never will. They whinge at the slightest hint they have to dress to any standards.
Yeah. And you can't mention it. Now, I know there are other sides of it, because I remember that during a talk I had some time ago on how, I think it was Fox, the news anchor, Fox News, where women have to be dressed in a certain way.
Oh, yeah. Well, it wasn't that. It's they had these chat shows and they were all sat round on a sofa.
Yeah. And women had to be dressed in a certain way, and men had to.
Because on the news, it doesn't matter because you're behind a desk and no one can.
Well, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's annoying that you have dress codes, but at the same time, I used to work in a company that had dress codes. It was called the Justice Department, and I worked in a prison. Be that as it may, it had dress codes. Funny enough, there the dress code for men and women was the same. But that doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. Actually, it's funny because Wimbledon's on. And in the French Open, the men and women literally wear identical gear. But at Wimbledon, the men have to wear a tie and the women don't have to wear a tie. And when it's hot, and given that men actually feel heat more than women, thus the sexist air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, women are always either warm or cold. Then again, I'm always warm, so there's that.
Yeah, but no, I mean, one of my pledges, never to wear a tie again. Funny, Mycroft Holmes, silly bugger, says, is chess a sport? There is a sport called chess boxing.
Chess boxing?
Yeah, no. It's what they do.
I know.
You know the one?
Yeah.
They play a game of speed chess and then a round of boxing, game of speed chess, round of boxing, game of speed chess.
Yes. It's amazing what people will do. But yeah, I know. But it's kind of funny though, because if we look at the things that, biologically speaking, men and women are driven in a certain way. It's not whether we like it, it's not whether we agree with it, it's how it is. And socialism, and I'm saying socialism in this case, and certain religions have done nothing but try to change nature.
Well, they start with denying it.
Yeah. And they always fall for the same play. I mean, everyone knows why Lysenkoism was a bad idea.
Yeah.
And still, how is this whole transgender thing not another form of Lysenkoism?
There is a difference.
Oh, I'm curious.
Okay, Lysenkoism was stupidity. The transgenderism is deliberate.
No. The Lysenkoism wasn't stupidity, because every biologist at the time knew that it was.
No, but they thought it would work. Whereas with the transgender thing is, they just want to tear down society.
No, but I disagree with they thought it would work.
Well, somebody did.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they might have been deluded, but the point is that they thought it would work. They had their ideology and they followed it. But my point about transgenderism is the ideology isn't to make people equal, it's to destroy society.
There are actually people who believe the bullshit they peddle.
Well, of course, but they're not the ones.
How is that then different than Lysenkoism?
Because Lysenko was put in place, and he believed his bullshit. So he was the person implementing it who believed his bullshit. The people pushing down the useful idiots might believe the bollocks about transgender, okay, but not the people formulating the bloody ideology, pushing it. They have openly stated they want to destroy society. So you can't deny that's their goal.
I haven't seen that one though.
Since the 50s, they've been openly saying we have to destroy society. We have to destroy the family. We have to destroy
the family, not so much society, but destroy the family.
No, the family. Destroying the family is a way to destroy society. Because society. No, I mean, it's all part of their ideology. It's all in their bloody literature. I'm not making this up.
Well, I have to look into that though, because I just said it. The patterns are eerily similar to me.
Yeah, well, that's because you go off symptoms, not causes. But anyway, that's another thing. But anyway, ignore
that. You made me find Marcel Duchamp with your question. I have no idea what that is about. What's that about, Real Raven?
Oh, it was just a question that Mycroft asked about whether chess was a sport.
Well, yeah, chess is a sport. It's a brain sport, but it's a sport. And I in all fairness, I can agree to that.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at what Michael Keller wrote.
What?
Well, he's saying it isn't socialist, but Bolshevists.
I agree.
That is, yeah, but this is part of the problem, because no one can agree what any of these fucking terms mean, and we just end up with bloody semantic arguments. Okay.
Yeah, that is also true.
It's quite simple. Prior to Marx, there was a need to address certain social inequalities. I even saw somebody yesterday say, but anarchy is a right-wing ideology. This is how ignorant people are these days. Prior to Marx, there was a need to try and work out how to give people more rights and opportunity. And that's about as far as Marx got it right. He then went totally off the rails. And for goodness knows what reason, people followed him.
Mm-hmm.
And so you ended up with two literally opposite points of view, both allegedly on the left. You had the collectivist Marxists and you had the anarchists. And if you read any of the anarchist writings from Russia from 1917, you'll see exactly what the anarchists thought about the Bolsheviks, which was, there goes the devil.
Yep. But that's because anarchy is based on individualism.
Individualism. And this is the
Whereas-
irony of the left, because there was an individual strand and there was a collectivist strand.
Yeah. This is the fun of Antifa, because they call themselves anarcho-communists, which is a contradictory terminus. You can't be an anarcho-communist.
Anymore, you can be an anarcho-capitalist, by the way.
Well, capitalism still is an individual thing, so...
No, but not the way the anarcho-capitalists think of it.
Oh, well, yeah. No, that's true. On that, I agree with you. But the whole idea of being, oh, yeah, I'm an anarchist, but I'm in favor of communion. Okay. Which is a good thing. There's nothing wrong with being in favor of communion. There is something, I think, personally, inherently wrong with being an anarchist, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I mean, anarchy, like so many... Well, okay, let's rephrase that. The fundamental problem with all political ideologies is they work on the ability, they work at the same level as the ability of humans, which is 200 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's as many people as a human can basically cope with. And all the political philosophies will work at that number. What they don't work at is the level of multi-million sized countries where everyone's a stranger just about. And so all the people think, oh yeah, I've got this idea in my head and this is how it will work. And it doesn't matter whether it's capitalism and conservatism or socialism or anarchy. They all fail as soon as you scale up. Because what works at a small level does not work at a big level.
And it's kind of funny, but this is true. And this is what's happening. I have to respond to what Michael Keller said, though. Communism, not communion, which is fair, let's be honest. I mean, communism was named that as to portray itself as a big communion of people. But
no. It's not. It's a derivation of the word community.
Yeah, I know.
Not communion.
All right, then.
Which is joining in whatever unity with the God.
Yeah, okay. Fair point. My English isn't perfect. You're correct. And hi there, Anir Tak, by the way. We did mention...
Sorry, yes. Carry on.
And I wanted to point out another thing. And this is about...
No, sorry, I meant about Anir Tak, because I haven't quite finished my point about that. Okay,
go on.
We are a social species. We exist as individuals, and what the individual does is important, but we only thrive in groups. The individual human is basically wild animal fodder, evolutionarily speaking.
Mm-hmm.
And there is therefore this dynamic between the individual and the group. We evolved to cooperate in bands, not act as individuals, but to work together. And so if you try and push too individualistic an outlook, the cooperative aspect of society disintegrates. If you push too cooperative an aspect of view of society, the individual role collapses. Neither works. The problem with the two political sides is they both want it at one way or the other, and the answer is in the middle. It's this complex interaction between the individual and the group. Trade, enterprise, economics is all about cooperation. You compete and you cooperate. You cooperate with suppliers, you cooperate with customers, you cooperate with in industry bodies, and you compete. And so you can't look at life as competition, and you can't look at life as cooperation. You have to look at life as this peculiar interaction and tension between both.
Yeah.
And none of the politics we have will do that.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why that is, to be honest.
Because people, if you saw St. Clair's recent video about dichotomies, humans tend to dichotomies. We don't en masse, some of us can, but we don't en masse deal with complexity very well. We like to simplify and say, oh, it's got to be like this, it's got to be like that. And the problem is the minute you simplify it to this or that, you've deviated from an accurate representation.
Mm-hmm.
And now the whole point about the liberal mixed economies of Europe and possibly America is they got this balance to a degree right. Not perfect, but to a degree. There's a certain amount of collectivism, national health care systems or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and private enterprise and business, which is the competitive aspect.
Yeah.
And that's the balance. But there's always one side pushing it too far the one way and the other side trying to push it too far the other way.
Well, it seems for the last 200 years, when the right pushes too far, it's easily fast identified and stopped. But when the left pushes too far, people tend not to see it.
I don't agree, but anyway, because the left has only been playing for 75 years.
No, that's not true.
Okay, maybe not in your country.
Well, we're talking about the world, so...
No, but my point is in countries like the UK and America, it's not true.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. They might not have a lot of political power, but they've been playing for a long time.
No. I'm not talking about people in politics. I'm talking about the structuring of society.
Well, look at what feminism has done in the UK. How can you say that's only since the last 75 years?
Your context switching. I was talking about things like having a welfare state.
No. I'm talking about left versus right at the moment. I'm not.
No, I wasn't. So I was talking about the actual structuring of society.
Yes, and I then mentioned how there's a problem because we can see the left, the right going too far, but people don't recognize the left going too far. Which
there was no left in British politics until 1918. So that's 101 years.
Yes, but feminism was still something that you could...
Yes, but feminism is not a left-wing ideology, never has been, never will be.
As is socialism.
Well, maybe, but the point is feminism started off as a bourgeois ideology of rich, idle women, and it still carries exactly the same outlook.
Well, anyway, we are fairly driven away from the original topic.
But yes, glad you watched it, Anita. I recommended. Do you remember V's video about
which old lady? What are you talking about?
I'm just telling you. There was a video of Anne Widdecombe in the European Parliament.
Oh, yeah.
And then Sargon did a video going, oh, this is terrible. And then
V did
a video saying, oh, no, she was actually brilliant and Sargon doesn't understand. And so I recommended that video to Anita earlier today.
I agree with V on that one.
Yeah, V was good.
Well, he wasn't good.
Did you see his Communist Simpsons video?
No, I haven't yet. No.
That's hilarious. You have to watch that.
No, but I mean, and here's the thing, because I know people were going to say, well, how can you say Sargon was wrong, blah, blah, blah. V and Sargon are friends. And I'm 100% sure, or at least I like to think I'm sure, that when Sargon sees V's version of it, Sargon will say either something like "I disagree" or "You make sense," but I'm thinking he's going to say "You make a good point." I would if I was Sargon, but that's me. I like Sargon, though. I've been in a live stream with him once. I have invited him once more, but that didn't happen.
He invited people to Parliament Square. I rolled up and he was an ignorant twat, but that's just a personal experience.
Well, I mean, the situations may have different. I don't know. But I had him in a live stream a long time ago, not even on my channel. It was when I was still doing the live stream with Tom Sequitur, who hasn't been around for a long time, unfortunately. And we were talking about Roman society. And he said something, and he made a mistake. Well, and I corrected him, and he thanked me for it. And I believe that he's an honest person. Just like when you say something, when I say something and you say, no, Joey, you're wrong because, or sorry, Motwayne, you're wrong because blah, 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 blah. Then I'm like, oh, well, yeah, shit, thanks. And I have the feeling Sargon is like that too. So I can believe he saw it the way he did. And
look, I mean, the point wasn't to criticize Sargon. The point was to contextualize which video I meant. And given that Sargon got it wrong, is in the title of the video.
Yeah,
that was the only reason he got mentioned.
I know. The video was meant to criticize Sargon, though. I mean, V made it to criticize Sargon.
Well, I saw it more as a praise of Anne Widdecombe and her. And what I think was actually a genius framing of the situation, because what she did was she used all the left's hyperbolic nonsense against
themselves.
Because there isn't a way on this planet she would have said any of those things of her own volition, because there's no way on this planet she believes any of those things.
Well,
in that language. But
maybe.
The point is she simply phrased what is happening in the left's own language, and basically dared them to deny it.
So yeah, that is true. But yeah, Sargon then came out to say how she thinks she was being hyperbolic.
He thought she was talking about fishing nets. Sargon's argument was that you can't say this when all they were talking about was fishing nets, missing the point entirely.
Yeah.
Because it could have been about anything.
Mm-hmm.
The point wasn't what it was about. It was about using this language against the European Union and then saying, and why haven't Britain been able to leave yet? That's what.
Sorry, I'm feeling at something, but yeah. Pointing out an error and cheering on Nana's technique. Nana? Why Nana? Anitak, what do you mean with Nana? You're not going
to term for a grandmother usually.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, grandma.
You're not going to call Anne Widdecombe with.
Here's the thing: I find there's a certain pleasure. I mean, I don't always agree with Anne Widdecombe. She's a terribly Catholic, with all that implies. Which, as an atheist, it can be quite shocking. But I actually get a pleasure when someone who I might disagree with, I can wholeheartedly get behind and agree with. I actually think that's a nice thing to be able to say, well, this person's done really well, and I can wholeheartedly agree with them, even though I normally disagree with them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that I like that. I think it's lovely.
Well, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Would have been better if she fired a gun into the air.
I'm not quite sure.
And shouted "Jihad" at the time.
That's
Oh,
funny.
no. That would have been a bit incongruous, to be honest.
Yeah, a bit too much, you think?
She's an old
That's right.
Conservative MP. Old Conservative MP do not fire guns in the air or shout yeehaw.
Well, I mean, that would have been cool, though.
No, they fire shotguns in the air and say, bag them.
Oh, sorry, man. That's a good one.
Sorry, I'm just. We have our class traditions. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, sorry. Burping up air and all that now. Old man. But yeah, there is a... I wanted to share something, but now I can't bloody well find it. Old man, idiot me. I'm looking at the wrong place. There was a nice meme on leftists bullshit. And
Just
now
one.
I have to, yeah, just one. I have to admit that, yeah, it's. I agree with John when we talk about left and right. It's not. We're not talking about left and right because people we now call leftists aren't left. It's not about being left.
I must admit, I am really hating the term right now.
We call them
leftists. I hate them.
but we know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Now, if we can find another name for them, I am 100% in favor of.
Well, it's more a question of appropriate use of adjectives. Thus, authoritarian, vile, fascist, the fascist left.
But fascism has always been left.
Yeah, I know, but not all leftists have always been fascists. So this is the point. You see, I believe that. You see, I agree with Jordan Peterson. You need people who are left inclined. You need people who are right inclined.
Yeah.
What you don't need are batshit crazy people.
Well, you can have batshit crazy people, but then
not in politics.
People, yeah, you can even have them in politics where people then still have the right and the ability to point out, "Hey, dude, sorry, but you're batshit crazy."
Instead of course, that's a good idea. Let's make it law, which is what's happening now.
And that's the problem. Anyway, because I thought we've done the topic pretty well. And before we start bitching and moaning about feminism again.
No, that's my favorite.
No,
I live to bitch and moan about feminism.
But it's
feminism is cancer.
I agree. John, I'm not one of those leftists. Yes, indeed. Come on, John, say it.
Well, as I say, I'm starting to hate the term leftist. So I'm now, as I've said, and Anatic knows, a belowist.
Oh, I get a message on my Discord in the middle of. Let's.
As we hear.
Yes. Yeah, I'm wondering why. Let me check it real fast.
I mean, it's like I was reading the comments below a Tim Pool video today, and it's all like, I disagree with you, but you're a good guy and I support you. I disagree. I don't like the left, but you're a good guy. And there's comment after comment after comment, all saying the same things about basically people who identify on the right, going, you're a good guy, Tim. And this is what it's about. It's about, I look for who's a decent person, not what their political opinions are. And at the moment, there's only one way to look. And here's the thing. There are reasons why I don't identify on the right. They might seem a bit bizarre to people, but there are. But I call it sort of like balance. It's like, okay, you've got a lot of good points, but there are these things you are blind to, and you need somebody to tell you these things you are blind to. And if it was the other way, I could do it the other way. You know what I mean? It's like you need a counterweight, which is my point I was trying to get at about Jordan Peterson. You need left and right, just not the crazy people, just the people who understand that there's, you know, you can't be too free market, because the free market basically is for psychopaths. And if that upsets anybody, they just don't understand economics. But it is. The free market's for psychopaths. And you can't have the state, because the state's for psychopaths. So then you end up with two bunches of psychopaths. What you need is people in the middle going, psychopaths, shut the fuck up and go away and leave us alone.
Excuse me.
And that's the thing, economics according to John.
Economics according to John. Anywho, I'm noticing myself being slightly lost for words. So, anyone have anything interesting to say, or should we?
No.
In all fairness, the whole topic started about women's sports.
Women.
The women, yeah.
The women, and I'm wondering how long we should continue on this one, or just
John economics.
John economics.
You could do like a female tennis match, just do 3 sets instead of 5.
Yeah.
but demand the same pay.
Demand the same pay. Listen, I have a problem with YouTube.
I think everybody's got it.
I mean,
run by a woman. It's called Susan.
I'm not even getting a millionth of what they're giving to PewDiePie.
Oh, yeah.
That's offensive. I should get the same.
Yeah. All you've got to do, Modway, is identify as a woman.
And in fairness, I was looking at PewDiePie finding a nether castle in Minecraft in another window while I was in the stream. So, if you can play Minecraft like him, then you probably be as successful.
In all fairness,
you don't want to play Minecraft.
I can play Minecraft better than him.
Really? Cool. You should have some Minecraft streams then. I'd join that.
No, I'm not going to do that.
You're just bragging.
I do play games, but
mine way.
I have played Minecraft for a while, but it just.
I played it for a while. 2 or 3 years back when my kids were still playing Minecraft and hadn't discovered League of Legends yet. But I used to build underwater castles. Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, people in the chat. Ludicrous. Identify as a female and then get a Twitch stream in voice pain.
Oh, damn it.
Keats, Michael Keller. I could always sell my bathwater.
I wanted to write that. The bugger beat me to it. Yes.
That's a woman who actually sells bottles of bathwater. And I'm like, you know what?
No. She sells what she calls bottled bathwater.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't care.
Well, it really is.
The funny thing is, all the power to her, funny enough, because I simply do not
shower water.
It doesn't matter. Who the hell buys that shit?
I don't know. She's a marketing genius.
No, but here's the thing, right? This is what people forget. When you've got billions of people online.
Yeah, you only need a handful of idiots. Less than a tenth of
Exactly. You will find an idiot for any occasion.
Yeah.
Any.
Well, currently, for those of you who are gamer inclined, currently I'm spending my time playing Mordheim City of the Damned, which is I don't know how old that game is. 4 years old, I think.
What,
Maybe.
4 years or 4 decades?
You know what really makes me sad about you young'uns?
You young'uns?
Yeah, because I'm older than you. You young'uns. Is that you consider just a few years as old. It's like,
I mean, for a rabbit, yes. For a tree, no.
No, but I mean, it's like, keep on these things. And it's like, oh, yeah, there was an old film, and you're thinking, oh, 1940s? No, they mean just post 2000.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it?
And it's like, for fuck's sake.
Well, I mean,
at least before you were born.
I remember, I mean, probably not before you were born, but I do remember playing Doom at under VGA, like 420 pixels just to make it faster because, graphics cards weren't invented then. It was great.
The game I played,
you had a way to shrink down the screen, so you'd basically play it as like it was like a stamp, basically, but then you could run it on a 286 processor.
Anyway, well, thank you, Davey. Davey loves Mordheim 2, which is a good game. It's from.
I don't know it. What is it? Screenshots, or it didn't happen?
No, if you ever go on Discord, you'll see Modren playing Mordheim City of the Damned.
Should I? Okay, this is hereby an official quest for my steady supporting viewers. If I were to stream or post a video on me playing Mordheim, would you watch it?
No.
That's one.
Turn-based strategy. That's not my. I don't like turn-based.
I mean, it's like I watched Thinkery stream, and they were playing some card game thingy, and it was the most boring shit because I didn't understand it. And then they were talking, and they kept saying, "Oh yeah," and then they were referring to stuff they could clearly see in the Discord, but never bothered to put it onto the stream. So they're referring to stuff you couldn't see, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake, we're watching these morons play some card game.
So let me then recap. At this point in time, out of this vote, there's a grand total of 0 people wanting me to live stream or post me playing games.
No, there's 2, Davey and Mycroft.
Okay, Davey, would you want to watch it? And because
Davey and Mycroft, they both typed 1.
Yeah, but as in, okay, well, that's 2 people then. Okay, that's half of them.
That's almost 50% of this of the audience of your stream, man. Look at it that way.
It's not. It's 20% of the audience because there's 9 people, so we're 25.
Oh, 9. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 on the chat.
I will give it a shot. One day I will play Mordheim live on Twitter. No, not Twitter. YouTube Hangouts.
Oh, I see that. I changed my
Never
votes
let me
once.
discourage you from doing that, Modway. I'm just saying that I do not have the remotest interest.
Oh, we can talk about whatever else.
That doesn't count. People not having interest don't count.
If you like. He just asked if you watch, and I said no, because that is the truth.
I do care about it, John. I do.
So
my point is this:
I was lying when I changed my vote from 0 to 1.
But I will then one day do a live stream on me playing Mordheim. I have to admit that I'm not really that good at the game.
It's even better.
Yeah, it's more fun because I mean I've played a few times already, but after a while, after I've lost 1 or 2 matches, I usually end like deleting the whole team and start over again.
That sounds like a rage quit.
It in a way it's not rage, but it is. Yeah. I've played 2 teams furthest. Let me see. There's the Human Mercenaries, which I'm playing currently again. I like the Human Mercenaries.
You know what? I'm just googling the images, and the graphics look pretty cool, actually.
Hey, it's a pretty cool game to watch. I'm going to do a let's play on it, and yeah. Anyway, so I'm mostly played Human Mercenaries. You know what? I'm going to share it.
What's a scaven? Skaven?
Skaven. Oh, well, there you go.
I'm pretty good with everyone but Skaven.
You are?
Skaven.
Hang on, they can't spell.
Skaven is this. This is
They
Skaven.
can't spell.
No, they can.
No, they can't.
Why can't they?
Encyclopedia. Armor.
Yes.
Clan Ishin.
They're spelled wrong.
No, it's posted by an American, not by
No. I'm sorry. Americans have a spelling problem. Webster was a linguistic vandal.
Looks great.
It actually is. It's a fun game, I have to admit. And I mean, I used to play Warhammer, the fantasy battle game.
Mutated humanoid rats.
Yeah.
It means SJW, right?
Yeah, okay, I can live with that. In the original game, you had the Human Mercenaries. That's these guys. No, I have to do it differently. Well, no, I'll just leave it.
Warbands. Warbands, are those musical bands?
Oh, I've got a real one. Gameplay mechanics. Where's the H?
Sisters of Sigma. That sounds cool.
Sisters of Sigma, which I mean, yes, there is the Sisters of Sigma, but
Told you they can't spell gameplay mechanics, mate.
Gameplay mechanics. Okay, John. And the cult possessed, which is basically the Chaos faction, and then later they had the Witch Hunter and the Undead faction to it, and I've played Mercenaries and Undead mostly because they're fun. I haven't really played online against other players because I don't know. I've never done that. Not in this game. There are other games where I have done it, but not in this game. Okay. Wenn jemand gegen ein Minimum von Aluminium immun ist, besteht
eine Minimum-Aluminium-Immunität.
You what?
When someone is immune to aluminum, there is an aluminum immunity.
Well, no, a minimum of aluminum. Then there is a minimum aluminum immunity.
So yeah.
Minimum aluminium Immunität. Just say that 3 times.
No, I won't say it once. I am not your performing monkey.
But funny.
On your talk, you can tell they are bad by the sound of their name. Yes, the Skaven are bad. That is true. It's always funny because the original factions in Mordheim, there were 2 good ones and 2 bad ones.
Look at that weapon. That's very phallic.
What weapon are we on about now?
On your screenshot on the top left where it says weapons, it looks very phallic.
Yes.
Extremely. A big, giant, glowing dildo.
Glowing dildo.
It doesn't look very practical,
we're back to
be honest.
the main topic, right? At the end of the stream.
It doesn't look very practical.
No, it doesn't. That's the thing with a lot of fantasy swords, though. They simply aren't practical.
They're more decorative, John.
There are 3 teams that are on the good.
But that's the thing about weapons, though, Real Raven. They aren't decorative. They're there to do a job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are three negative
with armor.
teams. I'm going to say this anyway in this game. There are three positive teams: the human mercenaries, the human witch hunters, and the human sisters of Sigmar, and they are fighting each other as well, by the way, because everyone fights everyone.
Interesting body armor. There's no
Well,
lightly chested young women.
There's a funny aspect to that. I know someone who used to make body armor. He's dead now, so he doesn't do it anymore.
He was killed by an arrow.
No. He once made a breastplate, a breastplate for a woman with breasts, and basically said, "This is a bad idea. I can make you a breastplate where the shape of the breastplate will cover. So obviously your tits will point out a little bit, but it will be all over the place. It's not just you have a memory here and a memory there. No, the whole shape of the breastplate will cover the top and bottom equally." No, she wanted them differently. Well, women do have breasts sometimes. Yeah. And she fought with it, and someone would smack her about, and you have metal breastplates because you want to have real bouts, and she got hurt by her breastplate so much because even the slightest movement of the plate, which it will have.
Oh yes, no, I think I've caught up with you there.
What?
And he warned her against this. And
yeah. Because if you mold on the breast and then the plate bounces up and down, it actually hits.
It was moving, was it? Oh no, that's not good.
No, breastplate will move a little bit. Now, it won't move a lot because people will always say, "Oh, well, you have a breastplate; it's really tight fitted and blah blah blah." No, it's not too tight.
Doesn't matter.
It has to be pretty good fitted, but there will be a little bit of movement.
Yeah.
It has to, because that's one of the ways you take away the power of the blow. But if you then limit movement in certain places, then you're not taking away the power of the blow. So yeah, he thought it was funny when he told me. I agree with him, to be honest.
Well, you see, the problem is that first, all the fantasy art shows it being a perfect replica of the inner form. So there's that, and there's vanity.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find another great example. I hope I can. Wait a second. Why is my YouTube going so slow? No, this is a good one, actually. So I'm going to share with you another image. I was looking at...
Do it.
Now this...
Ooh. Is that Jeanne d'Arc?
Is Jeanne d'Arc.
Jeanne d'Arc, yeah.
And we know she had a full breastplate. She had a full plate armor. We know this because it was specifically tailored to her. The stories tell this.
Hang on. But that picture is medieval art, which means not even closely representative of diddly squat.
Yeah, it's like
not
gamified.
It's not.
You'll find that within that picture there was all kinds of religious symbolism, and they had codes.
But, I mean, look at this one. This is new. This isn't from that era. But what you see is they will give you a hip to waist ratio, but the chest part will be one part.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the important part. Because if you don't do this, that's the same thing that people won't put horns on their helmets, because why? If you would, that helmet just became your death knell, because I hit the horns really hard, your helmet snaps in an unfamiliar angle and snaps your neck. This is a woman with breastplate, with a full plate. See, the whole idea that, I mean, you can clearly see it's a woman, well, considering the face, but you can't see, well, the arms are pretty thin too, but you can't see it anywhere else. Because if you could, that protection of that armor is useless. So yeah, that's the funny part I want to talk about. And that's why this is absolutely rubbish.
Yeah. And I don't play all this shit, and I picked up on that.
But I know years ago I went to the Gathering in England, which is in the UK, which is a live role play event, and there were actually women out there walking around in chainmail bikinis, and I'm like, okay, one, if you're a good-looking woman, it might be sexy, but on average, good-looking women don't do that. And if you think it gives you any form of protection, you are deluded twice. One, you're not a good-looking woman, even though you might think you are, and you're not wearing armor. You're going around in your skivvies.
I must admit, the undead seem to be doing the stripper thing.
So if the
chainmail
doesn't, just a question, Modwayne, if chainmail doesn't protect you, why do you wear it at all, or does it only protect you when you have like ribs underneath it?
Chainmail underwear doesn't protect you.
Depends which bits of you think are important.
Yeah, no, because those are the bits that nobody cares about. Still, if we look, I mean,
honestly, they're the bits I care most about.
Oh yeah, it might protect, because it's underwear. It may protect certain parts, but not your tummy, for instance.
No, that's true. That's true. But all I'm saying is, you don't only wear chainmail underwear. You just also wear chainmail underwear. I mean, it's like
if you wear chainmail under your plate, then yeah, sure. But then it's not.
Yeah, but I think it's more fun. It's more fun to see the underwear. So
I really do not want to know that about you, Real Raven.
Yeah.
You wanted to see my underwear kind of makes me worry.
No, not yours.
That's what I mean.
I'll have to look at it.
No, I mean, it's like the English invented sports, right? So we have association football, and we have rugby football, and we have cricket. Of those, rugby football and cricket have a thing called the box.
The box.
The box, B-O-X, box.
Listen, this is chainmail underwear.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's not its main purpose.
It'll not protect anything.
Oh, wait, stop interrupting. And the box is for the protection from harm of the male genitalia.
Right.
So one against the striking of 100-mile-an-hour cricket balls.
Ooh.
The other from violent thrusts of the hand of the opposing team.
Mycroft made me chuckle. Women are clearly just superior fighters. That's why they don't need armor. There's another explanation someone once gave me. Well, I mean, you can armor yourself with metal, or you can armor yourself with stupidity. Because when men look at a beautiful woman, they become stupid.
Actually, do you know why the
stupidity of your opponent?
Do you know why the Mongols had an advantage in battle against the European knights?
They were probably wearing leather, were they?
No.
No.
Silk.
Okay. Silk. Ooh.
Because arrows do not pierce silk.
What?
Yeah, but that is a mistake. I mean, if you put silk,
no, this is historical fact. And so, if you get pierced by an arrow, you can pull it out.
It's got the silk. Historic fact, because with a silk armor, your arrow might not penetrate.
Not armor, through shirt.
Shirt. Yeah. I'm sorry. The arrow might not penetrate the silk, but arrow and silk will penetrate your body.
Yes, but the
Yeah.
silk enables the arrow to be removed, whereas with
Really?
the barb, without the silk, there is no removing
It's
No,
hard.
the arrow.
It's hard to imagine.
that's not true.
Are you sure about that? So the silk is basically uncuttable or something, is it?
No, it's not uncuttable. It is cuttable, but it's more likely to withstand the impact of the arrow. But the skin
Wow.
of the silk will still be penetrated.
The
So
more
the,
you know.
Yes,
but
you still penetrated, but you're penetrated by something you can remove, not by something you can't. And the point is, this is an historical fact in the battles between the Mongols and the European knights. But the Mongols had the advantage because under their armor they had silk.
yeah,
Wow.
I disagree with that one because
Whether you disagree or not.
no, it has been proven that arrows and barbed arrows is a different story. Silk did not protect against barbed arrows because barbed arrows and silk had the same problem as barbed arrows without silk. So silk only protected against smooth arrows, but smooth arrows were easily taken out of a body without silk as well.
Yeah. Smooth arrows, exactly. Barbed are the ones with Widerhaken. You know, that they have these pointy things that point backwards. So if you pull it out, you inflict much bigger wound on yourself.
And this would happen with silk too. There is no protection from silk with barbed arrows. So this is, I know the story, John. I know the story because I've heard it many times. And it's partly true, but it's also partly not. And the not part is the important part because a smooth arrow I can take out of a body as well. It's painful, yeah, sure. And it might be a little bit easier to remove it with the silk, but it's not impossible to remove it without. But barbed arrows are going to be a problem no matter what. On the other hand, European archers didn't usually have barbed arrows because it didn't make sense.
Yeah? Because you couldn't reuse them?
No, that's not the main thing. Barbed arrows are used for hunting, but not for fighting, because what you want is something to penetrate armor, which means you want to lean with a sharp point.
Yeah.
On the average, mean that it's less lean and
get stuck in the armor.
There you go, Modwayne.
What?
Where I go? Yes, John, I know the story. I'll share it if you want. I know the story, but it's not true.
Okay, so everyone's saying it's true, but you're saying it's not true. Everyone, Mr. Modwayne.
I'm not everyone. There are plenty of people who say it's not true. You want me to share it on... Actually, people can look it up themselves. I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have silk, and I'm not saying silk didn't have something, but it's not as strong as what people claim it to be.
The question is, did it provide an advantage?
And the answer to that is no. Even though that's the thing, though. Ask any reenactor out there, ask any historical fighter out there, they will tell you. I mean, gambasons are very important, whether they are made by silk or whether they're made by linen or whether they're made by wool. Gambasons are very important.
What?
A gambason. A gambason is basically the garment you wear under your mail or plate.
Okay.
A gambason is made out of, well, horsehair, wool, linen, or indeed, as this example goes, silk.
Not leather?
No, you can't make a gambason. Well, you can, but that would be very expensive.
All right.
You could make them out of leather, or you could have...
I think you need to argue with Stephen.
I think that would be the most sturdy material, leather, but at the same time, it probably wouldn't be very comfortable to wear. You'd chafe like mad.
A gambason isn't meant to be sturdy. A gambason is meant to be
elastic.
Not so much elastic as in how do you call it when you like a thick padded jacket. Thank you, Ludicrous. I should have said that right away.
Padded. Okay.
Padded, yeah.
If you follow the link, you will see a picture.
Of what?
what you've just been fucking describing.
Well, the Yuan Brigandine, you mean? It's not a good picture of it. I'll show you.
It's
not
better than a verbal description.
not much.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You're just some argumentative twat sometimes.
As are you. Anyway, this is a Brigandine. And a Brigandine is somewhat of a gambeson, but this isn't a gambeson because this is merely one-layered or two-layered. Whereas a gambeson, and now I'm going to, damn it, wrong button, fuck it. Gambeson. Image.
Gambason. That's how you spell it. I was wondering.
If you look at this, I'm not going to show any of the other pictures. I can. You can see it's padded. You can see that here pretty well. Because a gambeson is meant to do more than just block arrows. Actually, they're not supposed to block arrows. They're supposed to block impact. This is, for example, when a lot of people, for example, have chainmail headsets, chainmail coifs. I have one. But what a lot of people fail to realize is that under a chainmail coif, you need to have a gambeson. Otherwise, the chainmail coif will do absolutely nothing. It will merely protect you from cutting. But if you're being struck against the head, the cut isn't the biggest problem. The impact is. And a gambeson protects against impact.
Okay. Like the inside of a helmet.
Like the inside of a helmet, yes. And the idea that blocking arrows, no, because the image, the Brigandine that is on the image, isn't a gambeson. Let me see if I can get it again. Sorry, John. Let me bring it back. Click, clickety, click.
I'm learning so much. It's amazing.
Click, clickety, click. Come on, come on, come on, come on. See, this is a Brigandine, but if you look, you will see it's thin. It's not padded.
Yeah.
A Brigandine is something that you would normally wear over your gambeson. And then it might use some protection. But an arrow that would penetrate a gambeson would penetrate a Brigandine. But a sharp arrow might not always penetrate a Brigandine. Then again, a sharp arrow doesn't always penetrate a gambeson themselves. It's about how much force is behind it. Now, for example, if you would wear chains, but you didn't wear a gambeson under it, then the arrow would penetrate the chain, and then for like 2-3 centimeters would go beyond the chain. So it would touch your skin. Now, if you had a chain and a Brigandine, then you would still penetrate your skin. Now, if you had a chain, a Brigandine, and a gambeson, you would not penetrate your skin. But at the same time, would you have a chain and a good gambeson, you would also not penetrate the skin. So the truth about the Mongolian warriors is not merely their outfit. And that's the same that people are talking about how the Vikings had way better weaponry for their space and time. Yeah, no, those are excuses. There's something far more direct to it. Now let's look at the Mongolian mail, because if I'm not mistaken, okay, you can't zoom in. That's too bad. Mongolian mail wasn't interlinked, which Viking mail was. So Viking mail was slightly better. But it wasn't the technological advancements that was so much higher. What made the Viking a better warrior? Because of their ferocity. What made the Mongol a better warrior? Because of their ferocity. But a lot of people are then talking about, well, but they had this advantage, they had that advantage. No, it's not about the advantage of the gear. And it never was. But in retrospect, people always like to think, yeah, but they had this advantage, they had that advantage. There are still people out there who claim that samurai would be a better warrior than a medieval knight. Well, okay, could be true, but their gear is shit compared to European medieval. There's a reason why the samurai always used leather armor, because their metal was crap. Which
is that so?
as well. No, yeah, that is actually true. And it's and I'm not saying samurai warriors were crap, don't get me wrong. I think they were.
The technology was shit.
but their technology wasn't up to par. Now the Chinese, for example, used the Silk Bridge in Dean as well. That's where the Mongols got it from, which made sense in certain groups, but that didn't make them so much more effective. There is more to it, and in case of the Mongols, I am 100% sure it had more to do with the culture of these people and the ferocity of these people than the gear that they were wearing. So, I mean, I'm not the only one here that is into medieval war stuff. I think Ludacris also likes this stuff. Am I wrong, Ludacris?
I think Ludacris is gone. No, he's there.
No, he's not. It's just it takes
The Temple of the Boyne.
There's
That's
lag.
a famous one.
Yeah, it takes him a while to hear what I said, and then he has to respond. So that's.
And I'm asking if he's a secret Catholic orange man.
No,
He's into reenactment, so that's cool.
And would a midget samurai win against a midget medieval knight? In all fairness, it depends.
Do we care?
No,
No, seriously, do we care? It's a stupid question.
If you're into wartime, you care.
It is a stupid question, but it's a funny question. It's the same. Who would win, a Viking or a samurai? Well, I don't know. Chances are the
one with the biggest axe.
Well, the one with the biggest drive to win.
That's what
I would say the one who can swim if it happens on a boat.
So, but Ludacris, you're in reenactment as well. Is anything I said factually incorrect? I'm curious about that one.
Nothing's ever incorrect.
Well, or everything is, apparently.
Heresy.
Just because you taught it at school and it says it on bloody Wikipedia, apparently it's false.
Well, hey, listen, that it says it on Wikipedia means nothing.
Well, it depends on their bloody references.
Yeah, but
yeah.
I mean, trust me, John, there are lots of research that is being done within, especially the Asian warrior stuff. And trust me, seriously, this is one of the main things that.
Trust you?
No, listen. One of the main problems historical reenactors of European history have is that everything that's not European is grand, great, and bloody thing, blah, blah, blah. When reality is absolutely opposite. And they keep pushing certain things. And they keep pushing certain things because it fits a narrative.
Of course.
And we know, I mean, you can even look online where people show you that they can shoot with an arrow on a silk gambeson and they can penetrate. Now, the chances with silk are less. And when they don't penetrate, it's easier to remove an arrow. But in war situations, knights, they wouldn't use barbed arrows. Because barbed arrows are bad at penetrating armor. And we know this stuff, and still people keep pushing this stuff. And
of course. Nothing works like a narrative.
And that's the problem with this. This is a narrative.
Fine, it might be a narrative, but
no, but that's the point I was trying to make, John, because you're like, oh, it's true because you say it. Well, obviously that's true, but there's more to it.
I was winding you up, young man.
Fair enough. Wouldn't a barbed arrow
worked.
the flight of the arrow? A barbed arrow will slow the flight of the arrow, but not as much. It's more of an impact thing that it will damage. Imagine it like this. If you have a knife, and you have a thin knife with a sharp point, and you push it into, let's say, a rubber mat. Rubber, not wood, because that's too thick. And now use the same knife with a slightly thicker blade, but still a smooth blade. It's already harder to do. Now make that blade have barbs, and it becomes harder still. So, no, I'm not going to say push it into John. I like John. Don't.
You can say whatever you like. I don't care.
You're killing me.
I wouldn't.
No, I'm just saying you can say whatever you like. Yeah.
Well, still. But anyway, so yeah, no. If we look at this one, they would have worn this under this and under this.
All right.
So you would slow down as soon as an arrow hit this. It would have been slowed down a lot, and then on this one, it should have. It would have been slowed down enough to not penetrate. But the same is true for any gambason. And if we look at when was the era? Mongol was 1400?
No.
12 to 15. But I mean, if we look at the early age of the Mongol warrior, yeah, you know what? The Byzantines had no problem with them at all.
No, it was the Egyptian Mamelukes who defeated the Mongols.
You know, they defeated them, but the Byzantines didn't have a lot of war with the Mongols because they simply didn't come. Well,
yeah, because they were too busy going down to Egypt and getting beaten.
Tried to go. I mean, they went the other way around just to avoid the Byzantines. Because they had to go around the Byzantines to get to Egypt. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah. But yeah, no, the silk gambason does serve a purpose. Stop. And it did. But the silk gambas, or this is not a gambason, this is a Byzantine. But yeah, gambasons do serve a purpose. And they serve a purpose well. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, I have fought, and in all fairness, if I'm fighting, well, I'm not fighting anymore, but if I fought with my chainmail and gambason, movement were a little bit more restricted. Not a lot, but you move a little bit less smooth. But even if someone would hit me with a gambason and my chain.
No, rhythm stick. Hit me with my rhythm stick.
This is good.
Something else. So if someone hit me, for example, with their axe.
Hit me slowly, hit me quick.
Or with their sword, and I was wearing my chainmail and my gambason, the impact was far, far less than if they hit me without, even though people try not to hit too hard. Who would win, a female Mongolian warrior or a female European knight? Well, I can tell you this much.
There were no female European knights.
Nor were there female Mongolian warriors on average. And yes, I know there will be exceptions, both on the female European and female Mongolian.
No. I doubt there were female European knights because it was all very
true.
It was all, it was very formal. You had to,
they would not have had the title. They could have had the gear, but they would not have had the title.
Yeah, they wouldn't be a knight. They would be a warrior, perhaps, but not a knight.
And perhaps is the good word.
Joan d'Arc wasn't a knight.
Actually, she wasn't a knight. And shield maidens are more a Viking thing than a knight thing, to be honest.
Yeah. A knight was a specific rank.
Yeah.
It wasn't just something you called yourself. This is the whole kneel, sir, IW, sir, whatsamacallit. You had to be elevated to the rank of knight. You didn't just get to be one.
It's the same as being someone's sire. I mean, we use the word sir now as if it means nothing, but it actually meant something. Not every man was a sir.
No.
Most men weren't, actually.
Well, it's like people often forget this. So, for instance, if you're an MP, you are the Right Honourable.
Yeah.
That is a rank. Then below that, you've got Honourable.
Yeah.
That's a rank. And it's easy to think, they're just things people say. But no, it's actually etiquette to call an MP the Right Honourable.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's all these subtle gradations of where you stand in a very clearly hierarchical culture.
Oh, wait a second. I see something here. Cool. My first gig with my singer-songwriter. When do you have a gig reel?
Saturday
the
week.
20th.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you say there.
Saturday in a week.
Oh, cool. Where, what, how? I missed it, apparently.
Oh, it's the folk festival in Glamorous.
Okay. And you're going to perform with someone?
Yeah, with my mate. He's a poet and songwriter.
He's more than welcome to use the song that I
No. He writes his own. We're not playing covers.
Well, I wouldn't even call it a cover then.
Yeah, but we write our own material, so it's fine.
Yeah,
but
no.
thanks.
Yeah, well, it's easier with folk music. It all sounds the same anyway. And I say this as the happy, what do you call it, attendee of many a folk festival.
Could be, but I don't think we'll strictly play folk as such. I mean, it's more like, I don't know. I don't know. Can't even say what it is. It's just approximation of the album we're working on, basically.
I assume that you will record it and you will post it.
No, sell it. He wants to sell it. He wants money.
See, Mycroft typed it just as I said it. So there you have it.
No, I'm probably not going to do that. It's not going to be great. It's going to be the first gig, so it's not going to be...
Yeah, that's the one you post.
Yeah.
No. It's too embarrassing. Wait till we get better.
No. Put it out there. Because then
no.
See how you got better, but at the same time, a lot of people talk about how things need to get better. And this is the one thing people always seem to misunderstand when they're talking about themselves. When you buy something and it's handmade and it has a mistake in it, that adds value. And this is true for everything.
It makes it authentic as opposed to polished.
There you go. And people actually recognize it, even though they can't put their finger on it. So trust me, mate, you want to post it, mistakes and all, because people will enjoy it because of authenticity.
Okay. I don't even know how to record it. Like, video record.
You put a tape and you press record.
Bring a phone.
I thought you wanted a video.
I didn't want a video. Somebody else wanted the video.
All right, okay.
Bring a phone. For fuck's sake. It's not that hard.
But I'll be busy playing the piano, so I won't be able to hold the phone and film myself.
Down and let it grab the ambience.
Huh?
You
just stick it down somewhere and let it record the ambience.
And then somebody's going to steal my phone. No way.
Don't you know anyone there then?
Huh?
A friend or a partner or whatever.
Yeah, take your wife.
Then ask them.
Yeah, maybe.
Her.
Maybe.
They.
No, his wife is a her.
Not
that's true.
Assuming gender here, John. Come on.
I am not assuming gender. I have spoken to his wife, albeit briefly.
Yeah, he knows. But
Okay.
I don't know. I will see. I don't even know if she's going to be there. She mightn't be interested.
What
What's that gasp?
Lack of spousal support.
Yeah, but she knows that she knows all the music. You know, I really need to move my studio elsewhere to make it more mysterious. You know, I'm downstairs, so she's probably sick and tired of our music at this stage.
Yeah, but that is what spousal support's for. They don't support you because you're good. They support you because you're not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like all those kids, especially in America, all those parents who go and watch every single performance their kids are in.
The kids, yeah.
And it's not because they're good. It's because
No.
they're their kids and they have to. It's the law, apparently.
It's the law. Is it?
Oh, I hear something. Anyway, we had a good talk. We had a good talk about more time. We had a fun talk about reenacting and historical reenacting, sorry. And armors. Then we started over on the music. And I think this is a good time to call it quits.
Okay. Quits.
Unless anyone wants to add something.
Lord, no. Let's just give up while we're ahead.
Yeah. Get the fuck out.
Ended on a high note.
Real Raven, send me a message in private on Discord. That's not for me then. That's for you, Real Raven. And that people, I like to, if anyone wants to come and hang out in the after chat, then now is your time to say something. Mine Wayne is a pimp. Mine Wayne?
Yeah, it's Mod Wayne, but with mine. What's your game called again? Mine something. Oh no, Minecraft, right? That was my suggestion. That's why you called Mine Wayne now.
Ah, okay. I didn't really. I've played Minecraft a while ago, but it's what, almost 10 years now. I think almost 10 years. Well, when did Minecraft came out? Because I played Minecraft when it was still owned by what's the guy?
Notch.
That's the one. I never met the guy, nor did I ever speak to him, or did he speak to me.
I'd be surprised. I'd be more surprised of you meeting Notch than you meeting PewDiePie.
Yeah, I've never met PewDiePie either. Okay, so there's not the answer there. Post the link. Paste. There we go. This is for the after stream.
The after stream.
Yeah, for those who want to join.
And Real Raven goes, I've got a life.
Well, yeah, you can go. And for everyone who wants to join there, you're welcome. For everyone who doesn't, I wish you the best of days, and I hope to see you all next time. John, you got anything to say?
I already did.
Okay.
A lot.
That is true. Real, you got anything to say?
No, I said my bit also.